Hello everyone. So today I'm just going to talk about dealing with darker entities and attachments and demonic activity. I've actually been dealing with demonics and darker entities for a very long time now. It's part of my role on this earth to remove as many demonics and darker entities from the planet, especially now while we're going through this major transition from darkness to light. The planet was hijacked a long time ago by the darker forces, and they've used a lot of portals and the whole planet for their nefarious ways, which unfortunately links into our psyche and our fears and can sometimes do quite a bit of damage to our psyches and our emotional bodies. I'm putting this up mainly because I get a lot of questions and I have actually dealt with some people who have had to deal with demonic activity, and usually it's through things like seances, not realising the damage that it can cause, and sometimes, and especially now, there seems to be quite a few children that are targeted, and that this is the reason why I'm putting this out there. Whether you believe in Jesus Christ, God, or whoever you believe in doesn't actually really matter. I never believed in anything until all of this started. For me, I didn't believe that these sorts of things existed until I was thrown in the deep end many years ago. Since then, it's been like a travail of just trying to sort of deal with my own stuff that was going on, plus trying to help others as well who were going through similar things. So the first thing I would say for anyone, especially if you're going to do a seance, don't. Also, there are signs you can look for. If you feel like that there is an entity within your home, if it is an entity that has died in the house or has, taken up residence in the house from previous times, then that's not what we're talking about. Although you can probably use the same methods. I'm not so sure that that would work, but it might, because there are some Christians who believe that all ghosts, entities, people that have passed over are actually demonic, are actual demons manifesting themselves as relatives, passed over relatives. I'm not so sure that that's true because I've had dealings with all sorts of different entities and beings over the years, and I don't necessarily hold to that. However, there is a difference between a ghost or an entity within your home region than something that is causing a lot of mischief and causing a lot of havoc to you in your house, or even if you are away from the house, or if it follows you. If it follows you from house to house, or sometimes you may see it while you're out somewhere. Sometimes, quite often, demonics can come in the form of little girls with dark hair and white dresses. And if anybody tells me that that this little girl is following them, in fact, with the last two that I've come across, both of them were talking about a little girl with dark hair and white dresses, and I have seen them myself. They are usually demonic, and of course will come in the form of a child to fool you. If it's following you, it isn't a ghost. it is usually demonic. So the first things that you can do is, number one, remove all fear if you can. The thing is, these things feed from fear. They feed off your fear. Negative entities will always feed off your fear from your emotional body or from any fear that you hold in your body at all. They will feed off it. That is their food. And you can see that with what's going on the planet at the moment. Everything that is going on right now has to do with demonic activity and satanic activity as well, directed straight at most of the world's population through fear, through propaganda and fear. And they are feeding and having a field day. However, right now, they are going to be removed from the planet very soon. They will always attempt to fight back though, and they can exist through all sorts of things, especially if you hold any fear in your body at all. They will attach themselves. So the best thing to do is to remove all fear as much as you can. However, if this is really difficult, there are 3 that I call in, and that is Jesus Christ. These are the entities that I work with from the light and from God. So they are Jesus Christ, Archangel Michael, and Archangel Gabriel. Those 3. The last time that I had anything to do with a demonic activity in a house, that was pretty much attacking a child. She also had that Jesus Christ came through as the Lion of Judah. And in the Bible, I am not religious. Even though I do this work, I have no religious ties at all. I do not read the Bible. I've never read the Bible. So I cannot. So, I mean, if other people read the Bible, but I have actually realized since that Jesus Christ, when he returns to the earth, will come in the form of a lion, the Lion of Judah. So this little girl, even though she had quite a bit of demonic activity around her within the house and around her, she was protected by the Lion of Judah. This little girl was only 2 years old, but she was able to, she called the demon a dinosaur, and she often mentioned the lion that was with her, that protected her. And when I saw, I didn't realize this until afterwards. This little girl didn't really speak. She couldn't speak very much. She was only 2. I got that from her parents afterwards, after I had told them that Jesus Christ had come in the form of a lion, the Lion of Judah. They said, well, the little girl often mentions a lion around her. So these 3 are the entities that I work with all of the time and have done for many years. I see Jesus Christ quite regularly. So what you can do is to call in these 3 entities. And it does not matter whether you are religious at all, it does not matter whether you are spiritual at all. These are the 3 entities to call in. If you are dealing with demonics, satanic, ritual type things that are in houses, which can often quite happen, they happen sometimes, then you really seriously need to call in the opposite, which like you've got the light and the dark. So who are the lightest beings that you can think of? Those are the 3. Even if you're it doesn't matter what culture you belong to, if you are dealing with demonic activity, these are the 3 that you call in: Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and Jesus Christ. And then what you do is you call them in and you say, I call on Jesus Christ, Archangel Michael, and Archangel Gabriel. Please come and protect me and remove this thing either from your body. If it's on your body, then you need to actually go into a meditative state and breathe into your stomach and keep breathing very heavily until you see this thing removed. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, and Jesus Christ will be there. If you call them in, they will come. And then you breathe everything out until you see them gone. And you state, if it's in a house, then you state, this is my house. This is the house of Jesus Christ. It belongs to Jesus Christ, to the Lord, and you have no business here. And then you ask for those three to remove them from your state of residence. The thing is, demonics will feed off your fear, like I have said. And so what you need to do is to stand up. Stand up to the fear and stand up to these entities that are feeding off your fear. If you call in those three as a backup, they will always come. That has always happened, that they have always come. And that is really all it takes. If, I always, pretty much those three are it. And also too, I will often get messages too that I ask always if it's from the highest of the high, which is God himself. Whether you believe God to be, it doesn't actually really matter what you believe God to be. God is a part of every single cell in your body. It's all that is. And if you believe wholeheartedly that you are a part of all that is, then you are a part of God. And there is nothing higher than that. So you have truth, you have fear, you have love, you have fear. Pretty much that's it. I mean, the truth will always prevail, love will always prevail over fear. Now, I have actually given this message to a few people that have had demonic activity going on in their house. And if it's children, then I will always go in, of course, myself. And I will say too, the reason why children sometimes are being targeted is because the children of today have a uniqueness about them, that they are here to change the planet, and of course usually have so much love and innocence about them, and usually are extremely powerful and will be extremely powerful human beings when they grow up. That is why they are targeted. And if you are being targeted at all with any sort of entity coming at you, you are also extremely powerful. And of course, all human beings are extremely powerful. But if you have any sort of spiritual, psychic abilities at all, and you can do the work that I do, they will attack and they will come after you. You just have to call in Jesus Christ, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, and believe wholeheartedly that you are protected. I have never ever looked at protecting myself with stones or anointing. Well, anointing, yes. Anointing and saying prayers over it, then yes, I will do that, because that is the highest level, because you're going straight to God. But I do not use intermediaries like ascended masters or anything like that. They are not of the highest of the high. And I have found that any time that I've not had any fear at all, that is when I'm attacked. So you just cut out the middlemen, you go straight to the top. Or if all that fails, call me. But really, you can all do this yourself. At the moment, there appears to be, this can work for anything, any sort of situation that you're in. If you feel fearful at all, you call on those three and they will come to help. I promise you. They've always been there for me with the work that I've been doing over the years. and this works. There was a man that came to me once. He was an elderly man who had performed a séance with his sister, and these demonics had followed him from house to house. So all he needed to do was stand up. So he did exactly as I told him to do, and they've left him alone. But he was actually getting things like sleeping at night and having his blankets ripped off him, his feet pulled out of, like having himself pulled out of his bed, that sort of thing. So they were getting quite nasty and quite rough with him. But he stood in his power, and he stood up to them, and they left him alone. It works. So anyway, that's all I have to say, and good luck.